This is part 1. Question. What kinds of bills do you have to pay?
Well, like most people in my country, I usually pay electricity, water, and mobile phone bills. Among them, electricity is the most regular one because we use it every day for fans, lights, and charging our phones.
How do you usually pay your bills? In cash or by another method? Why?
I mostly use the bKash app, which is a mobile payment service in Bangladesh. It is quick and easy, and I don't have to stand in a long line. But sometimes, when I'm free or already in town, I pay in cash because I like to have a paper receipt.
Have you ever forgotten to pay a bill? Why or why not?
Yes, once I forgot to pay my electricity bill. I was very busy with work and didn't notice the deadline. One evening, while watching TV, the power suddenly went off. At first, I thought it was load shedding, but later I realized it was because of my unpaid bill. My little daughter even joked and said, "Baba, the TV is angry with you." It was funny, but it also taught me to set reminders on my phone.
Is there anything you could do to make your bills cheaper? Why or why not?
Yes, of course. We can reduce electricity bills by switching off fans and lights when not in use, using energy-saving bulbs, and not using the air conditioner too much. Personally, I try to use natural daylight as much as possible. These small changes can really help to save money.
This is part 2 question. Describe some food or drink that you learned to prepare.
Well, I would like to talk about beef curry, which I learned to cook a few months ago. I learned it with the help of my mother, and I also watched some YouTube videos. At first, I was a little nervous because cooking beef is not easy. I had to wash the meat, cut it into pieces, and prepare the spices. I also needed to control the heat so that the beef was cooked properly. Sometimes I like more salt, but my family prefers less. So I had to keep tasting and checking the curry again and again. My younger brother also doesn't like too much chili, so I had to be careful about that. Finally, the curry turned out quite good. My mother said I might become a chef one day, and my father ate silently, which means he enjoyed it. I felt really proud and happy. To sum up, learning to cook beef curry gave me confidence, patience, and also a chance to make my family smile.
This is part 3 question. What kinds of things can children learn to cook?
I think children can learn simple things like boiling eggs, making rice, or preparing noodles and sandwiches. In our country, children often see their mothers cooking, so they can also learn small skills like cutting vegetables or making tea. These skills help them become more independent.
Do you think it is important for children to learn to cook?
Yes, I think it is very important. Cooking is a life skill, and it helps children when they grow up and live alone. It also teaches discipline and responsibility. For example, many students go abroad for study, and if they cannot cook, they face many problems with food and money. So learning to cook from childhood is very useful.
Do you think young people should learn to cook at home or at school?
I think both are important, but home is better because children can learn traditional recipes and spend time with parents. However, schools can also teach modern cooking methods, nutrition, and hygiene. So a balance of both home and school would be the best.
This is part 1 question. Did you like studying science when you were at school? Why or why not?
Honestly, I liked science to some extent when I was in school. Some topics, like experiments in physics or the diagrams in biology, were very exciting for me. But at the same time, I found chemistry formulas a bit difficult. So overall, I would say I had mixed feelings about it.
What do you remember about your science teachers at school?
I remember one science teacher in class 7 who was very friendly. He explained things with real-life examples, like showing electricity with a battery and a bulb, and that made me interested. But another teacher was very strict and focused too much on memorization, which I did not enjoy.
How interested are you in science now? Why or why not?
To be honest, I am not very interested in science now because I moved to business studies after class 8. Still, I sometimes read about technology, space, or medicine online because I am naturally curious. But I don't study science seriously anymore.
What do you think has been an important recent scientific development?
I think artificial intelligence is one of the most important recent developments. It is used in many areas like education, health, and business. For example, doctors can use AI to detect diseases quickly. I also use AI tools to practice English, so I feel it is very useful.
This is part 2 questions. Describe a tourist attraction in your country that you would recommend.
One tourist attraction I would recommend is Cox's Bazar. It is in the southeastern part of Bangladesh and is the longest sea beach in the world. I visited there last year with my family, and it was one of my best trips. The beach is amazing with golden sand, blue water, and the sound of waves. Tourists can swim, ride speedboats, eat seafood, or enjoy the sunset. One funny moment was when my little daughter screamed and ran away because a wave touched her feet. Everyone laughed, and that made the trip more memorable. We also went to the local market and bought some handmade products. The fresh fish fry we ate was also very tasty. Overall, Cox's Bazar is a great place for both local and foreign tourists. It is relaxing, enjoyable, and perfect for making family memories.
This is part 3 questions. What are the most popular museums and art galleries where you live?
In Bangladesh, the National Museum in Dhaka is very popular. It shows our history, culture, and language movement. Another one is the Liberation War Museum, which is very emotional. There are also art galleries like Shilpa Kala Academy, where artists show their work. In my town, we don't have big museums, but in the capital, people often visit them.
Do you believe that all museums and art galleries should be free?
I partly agree. Important museums about national history should be free so that everyone can learn. But private art galleries can charge a small fee to maintain their collections. In Bangladesh, if the ticket is expensive, many people avoid going, so free or cheap entry would be better.
What kinds of things make a museum or art gallery interesting to visit?
I think the way things are displayed is very important. Interactive screens, audio guides, or videos make them more enjoyable. Storytelling is also useful because people like to know the history of items. For example, in the Liberation War Museum, letters and diaries of fighters are shown, which touch people emotionally. A clean environment and friendly staff also make the visit more interesting.
This is part 1 question. How often do you buy things online? Why?
I usually buy online 2 or 3 times a month. It saves time and I can compare prices easily. But I also like to shop in local markets sometimes because it feels different.
What was the last thing you bought online?
The last thing I bought was a pair of headphones. I needed them for practicing English and also for watching movies. I found them at a good price and the delivery was quick, so I was happy.
Do you ever see things in shops and then buy them online? Why or why not?
Yes, sometimes I do that. For example, if I see a gadget in a shop, I first check the online price. Often online is cheaper, and I can read reviews before buying. But if it is something small or urgent, I buy it directly from the shop.
Do you think the popularity of online shopping is changing your town or city?
Yes, I think so. Many people now order clothes, electronics, or groceries online, so markets are less busy than before. But during festivals, people still prefer to shop in bazaars. So online shopping is growing, but traditional markets are still important.
This is part 2 question. Describe a time when you enjoyed visiting a member of your family in their home.
Well, I enjoyed visiting my elder brother's home in Dhaka. He lives in Mirpur, and I went there to spend time with him and his family. During my stay, we visited Dhaka Zoo, which was very exciting. My little daughter saw lions, elephants, and giraffes for the first time, and she was very curious. On another day, we went to Jamuna Future Park, the largest shopping mall in South Asia. We did shopping, ate food, and played games. What I enjoyed most was the family bonding. Spending time with my brother and daughter gave me happiness and comfort. This visit reminded me that family time is very important, no matter how busy life gets.
This is part 3 question. When do families celebrate together in your country?
Families usually celebrate during religious festivals like Eid. They also gather for weddings, birthdays, and national days. These events are about food, fun, and family bonding.
How often do all the generations in a family come together in your country?
Nowadays, it doesn't happen very often because young people live in cities, but at least 2 or 3 times a year, during Eid, all generations from grandparents to grandchildren come together. Those moments are very special.
Why is it that some people might not enjoy attending family occasions?
Some people don't enjoy because of family conflicts or too many personal questions. Large gatherings can also be tiring for introverted people, so while most enjoy, some feel stressed.
This is part 1 question. How many hours do you usually sleep at night?
I usually sleep around 5 hours at night because I wake up early for Fajr prayer. Waking up early makes me focused, but sometimes I feel tired because 5 hours is not enough.
Do you sometimes sleep during the day?
Yes, I sometimes take short naps. It helps me get energy because I sleep less at night, but I avoid long naps as they disturb my night's sleep.
What do you do if you can't get to sleep at night?
I usually read something light or listen to Quran recitation. This calms me down. I avoid using my phone or TV because it makes it harder to sleep. Sometimes I drink warm milk, which helps me relax.
Do you ever remember the dreams you've had while you were asleep?
Yes, sometimes I remember dreams, especially if they are strange or interesting. Often they are related to what I was thinking before sleeping. I enjoy remembering them because they are sometimes funny.
This is part 2 question. Describe a time when you met someone who you became good friends with.
One good friend I made is my teacher, Mr. Sad Rahman. I met him when I joined a training course on CDR, which is Call Detail Records. At first, I felt nervous because the topic was technical. My first impression was that he was very patient and explained things in a simple way. Over time, we became good friends because he guided me not only in theory, but also in practical work. Sometimes he was strict with deadlines, but it helped me become more disciplined. From him, I learned technical skills and also time management. I think our friendship developed because of respect and his willingness to help students. I still feel grateful to him.
This is part 3 question. How important is it for children to have lots of friends at school?
I think it is important to have friends, but not too many. A few close friends give support and help build social skills. Too many friends can distract children. So quality is more important than quantity.
Do you think it is wrong for parents to influence which friends their children have?
Parents should not control too much, but they can give advice. Children should choose their own friends and learn from experience. Parents can warn about bad influence, but the decision should be the child's.
Why do you think children often choose different friends as they get older?
Because their interests and goals change. For example, a child may like playing football, but later prefer music or study. As they grow, they look for friends with similar values. So changing friends is natural.